Good morning. While I am extremely honored to be here, truth be told, I find myself a little dumbfounded. I was a late-in-life student, went to graduate school dragging my feet, and then wanted to get through as fast as possible. I appreciate Meenakshi's kind words, as well as her thoughtfulness for leaving out exactly how difficult I was. Thank you, Meenakshi, for your patience, endurance, and generosity. A very special thank you to President Joe Moore and Lesley University, who believe in our work with young people and gave me the chance to return to school and to be here today to share a few lessons with all of you. To all of you, I am humbled to be in your presence. Congratulations for all your hard work and all that you have done to get here to this very special day. You came here to get better at helping people. And as you know, central to Lesley's mission is the commitment to prepare socially responsible graduates with the knowledge, skills, understanding, and ethical judgment to be catalysts in shaping a more just, humane, and sustainable world. As you leave here today, I would like to share with you 3 core lessons that I learned over and over again about the privilege of trying in some small way to create a more just world. These are the lessons of belonging, doing things that matter, and compassion. You belong here at Lesley. You belong to your families, and you belong to the world. However, I figured out when I was very young that there were a whole lot of people in the world who felt left out, alone, hurt, that they did not matter or belong. I was 11 in 1968 when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. I remember the days in Baltimore where I grew up. I can tell you the color of the sky and how heavy the air was to breathe while the city burned. It was then that I began to realize that there are tremendous gaps in the world due to poverty, race, class, violence, war, and that many people do not feel like they matter or belong. Every day, I am reminded sadly of this painful reality of people who do not feel like they belong. Some of them are crossing oceans in tiny boats in search of a better life. Some are fleeing unspeakable violence and walking across borders, hoping for a safe place to live, and some 2.5 million of them are locked away in our nation's prisons. They are all around us. They are in our schools and communities, wanting, hoping, seeking a better life and a world where they matter. They, just like you and me, want to belong. I have been working with young people for 41 years. And in 1988, before many of you were born, I founded ROCA. ROCA started in Chelsea and now works across the state with 700 young men from streets and gangs and 200 high-risk young mothers. We work with the young people who are not ready, willing, or able to participate in school or education or our communities in a safe and productive way. The question is, how do you help young people feel like they belong? You cannot just tell someone you belong. So we created our strategy of relentless outreach. We show up over and over again on the street where young people are living or hiding for months and years. We tell young people they matter. We invite them to participate in their own lives, even when they do not like us and call us names. When they tell us to go away or try so very hard to avoid us, we show up again. I think of Viche, who I met as a young teen, who was born in a refugee camp after his family fled the Cambodian genocide. He and 3 other brothers became gang members when they came to this country. Over the years, he was in and out of ROCA, arrested many times, and eventually charged with attempted murder. Again, we reached out and made a plan. He became one of the best youth workers and human beings I will ever know. Sulai was a young mother who lost her children. She was a gang leader and regularly arrested. She was angry, explosive, and exhausting. Today, she is chasing young men around the city of Boston, dragging them into programming and jobs. This week, we are working with Maria, a young mother who fled Central America at 17, being forced to witness murders done by her boyfriend. And then there is Pablo, who comes to Roca to work every day and never leaves, wanting so desperately to belong. The next lesson is doing things that matter. Justice is not a state of being. Justice is not something we can proclaim into existence. I believe that justice is a verb, not a noun. It is something we have to work on and for every day. If justice is what we hope for, we need to do things that matter, things that bring about the change we are seeking and actually help people. This is a tricky one, because strong convictions and hard work, or the ever-popular "it should be," do not get us there. In fact, sometimes we can cause more harm than good. 10 years ago, even though Roca was a thriving organization that worked with hundreds of gang members, we realized that young people were coming to Roca, doing things they liked to do, feeling good about themselves, and returning home and dealing drugs and shooting people. Something was clearly wrong. We went on a learning binge and essentially brought the organization to a halt. We learned about behavior change, what it takes, how long it takes, and then completely changed our work. We focused only on the highest risk young men on track for future violence and incarceration and young mothers. We formalized our relentless outreach, trained youth workers in behavior change and long-term support, and built programming to tolerate young people succeeding and failing and trying again until they were ready to put down their guns and go to work. We decided to build a model where young people who need it the most, who don't even want to participate, were in, over 4 years. We became data nuts, tracking young people and staff, doing pattern analysis to improve our work, and doing tons of research. Most importantly, we do this to be worthy of the young people we know and serve and accountable to our partners. As a result, we are far more successful at helping young people change their lives, stay alive, and go to work. We have the privilege to run the nation's largest social impact bond project, to pilot an innovative public-private partnership to help many more young people stay out of prison and succeed. This, making sure we do what matters, challenges us daily. You have all seen the tragedies in Ferguson and Baltimore and elsewhere. After each of these incidences, as you would expect, our phone rings. People ask us all kinds of questions. Like you, we know that the world is not fair, that racism is both mean-spirited and unacceptable. But we need to quietly remind the people that our young friends are the ones carrying the guns and knives on the streets. While the world fixes its systems and rethinks justice, we are helping young people stay alive and change today. None of my opinions, thoughts, or comments will keep young people alive. This is a fact. But giving them the skills to make better choices, that matters. And then each one of them, and maybe each one of us, can choose to move towards justice. The third lesson is compassion. In Latin, compassion means co-suffering. It is easy to say that I am compassionate, but in real life it gets hard. The challenge is to be compassionate with people you do not like, with people you do not agree with people who hurt you and scare you. I remember the first time I was working with a family where the father had sexually abused his children and struggled to understand that I had to have compassion for him too. I remember the powerful realization that I believe so deeply that everyone belongs, that I can no longer decide there were exceptions, people who did not count, my own version of us versus them. I remember when the person who threatened to kill me asked for my forgiveness on a chance meeting in a crowded subway, and then too, I had to find compassion. None of us want to believe that we are not compassionate. We admire the extraordinary people who somehow, against all odds, forgive and show compassion for those who have oppressed and hurt them. Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, parents who lose their children, and the list goes on. And we look at them and wonder, how could they ever do that? And although I do not know the answer, I know that compassion is part of the journey towards justice. I ask people every day to find compassion for the remarkable young people we know and love at Roca. I challenge myself when young people we know kill someone, and then too, I must find compassion And today, I ask you. So as you leave here with your powerful, transformative skills to become even better counselors and teachers and leaders, I hope these lessons will guide and inspire you. Congratulations on your tremendous accomplishments and all that is to come. The truth is, there are no simple answers. There are no quick fixes, and this is no perfect nor perfectly just world. Remember that justice is not a noun, but a verb. If we do it over and over again, help people belong, do something that matters, and be compassionate, we can all be what today we know we are: extraordinary. Thank you.